a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show. We appreciate you spending some time with us here. And we've got Jay Smith in the house. We're going to talk about this interesting lawsuit that was just recently filed by the DOJ relating to Colony Ridge, a development in Texas. And so it's going to be an interesting conversation there. Also going to get his ideas in the real estate market. Pinellas County stats, we'll go over that as well. Patrick Furlow in the house. Step by Stage Interiors does a great job on the interior design with him and his lovely wife, Annie. And then Shane Stanfield, Cryogenics, is going to be in the house. We're going to talk about health as well, get into that health and nutrition side of our show. A quick shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill, the Tampa restaurant partner for the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brio Tuscan Grill over at the International Plaza Mall. Excellent food, very delicious menu items. They are right here right off of West Shore here at the International Plaza Mall. Say hello to Chef Oscar Ramirez or Joseph, the general manager. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. They're going to hook you up with a free appetizer, free water with lemon as well. They're going to hook you up there, and they do a great job on the food over there. They've got catering this time of year as well, so keep Brio Tuscan Grill in mind for all of your catering and happy hours as well. And a couple of hot listings here. We always like to feature our real estate properties live on air. It's part of a strategy where we help sellers maximize the exposure and the profit on the sale of their real estate. We're up. Our team, by the way, the market's down about 8%. Our team is up 11% this year in a little bit of a down market. And, of course, the Fed signaled that interest rates are going to be coming down in the spring, so we're looking to go gangbusters here. We've got an all-star team. We're adding some really awesome folks to our team. So we'd love to help you if you're buying, selling, or investing. Keller Williams Realty, the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. So here's a hot listing here, 6136 41st Street East. Now, this one's in Bradenton, Manatee County. Beautiful property here. Barrington Home Ridge, over 2,400 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. You also have a bonus room and a 3-car garage. Pool with a jacuzzi that backs up to a conservation lot for that ultimate privacy. Great opportunity to own real estate. Over $70,000 in upgrades. Beautiful new kitchen, newer roof, new paint as well. 6136 41st Street East, Bradenton, Florida. One of our real estate listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 6026 100th Avenue East. Again, another great single-family home. This one's in Parrish. So we're out east here, East Hillsborough County. 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 3,000 square feet. Completely screened in, oversized lanai. You have updated bathrooms with tile, floating vanity, European sink cabinets, rock landscaping, beautiful tiled kitchen island in the kitchen there. Newer ACs, 4-foot fence. Beautiful property here. Another great opportunity to own a home in Tampa Bay, one of the hottest real estate markets in the country, by the way. 6026 100th Avenue East, Parrish, Florida, and we can help you get maximum profit when you're selling your real estate. You can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Yeah, I'm racing my class to those saving our ass overseas.
That's right. That's our shout out to our veterans there, Jay. We love our veterans. We offer, discounts to our veterans, helping them in a lot of different ways. They've got great financing options. But yeah, shout out to our friends out there keeping us safe in the military armed services.
Yeah, I love working with those guys and girls.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. They are just quality folks, and you have that mutual respect there, that built-in discipline. I love working with military folks. But let's jump into it. So we got Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, one of the longest. You and Captain Will.
Us too. It's really us too.
Fred too. Fred was around. Fred Muth.
He came about a year.
About a year after?
2 years, yeah, something like that.
So you and Captain Smith, yeah. The longest, the OGs. We'll call you the OGs, right?
Both graduated in Virginia Beach.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, very cool. That's awesome, man. So, so what are you seeing out there? So, Jay, you're inspecting a lot of homes. You're inspecting commercial properties. What's the theme of 2023 been, and where do you see us going in 2024?
Well, I tell you, the biggest thing is things are still a little bit slow out there. Even though rates have come down, the mortgage companies have lowered things to make it more pleasing. I think they're actually in great shape at the moment. Anything around 6%,
yeah,
you can't beat that. But it doesn't seem to be. I guess the holidays are probably keeping people from looking. But if I had to give them advice, get out there.
Right.
I mean, if you don't want to do it during the holidays, be back out in the market January 2nd, see what you can find. You want to beat the rush because I just got a feeling there's going to be a rush next year.
That's right. There's pent-up demand. There's a lot happening in the real estate market, so I think there's a lot of pent-up demand. And it's interesting because it's not only on the buy side, but it's also on the sell side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've been
that?
holding off, and I think they're going to be ready to say, hey, let's sell it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's happening. And here's the latest stats, by the way. We like to talk facts here on the Consumer Quarterback Show and give you some insights into the market as your local economist of choice here. Pinellas County here's the latest stats. 1184 properties sold, single-family residential properties, townhomes, condos, all fall under that single-family mobiles and townhomes. 1184 sold. Divided by the 2137 that were listed, that gives us a 55% absorption rate.
Yeah.
So we were talking pre-show. That's the lowest out of Hillsborough and Pinellas and Pasco, because if I flip over here to Pinellas, from Pinellas to Hillsborough, Hillsborough's at a 70% absorption rate, so a much higher absorption rate. And then Pasco, I think, jumps up to 85, if I recall. Let's see. Yeah, a 75% absorption. So, 75% for Hillsborough and Pasco, and then Pinellas coming in at 55% absorption. So there's something off there a little bit in Pinellas.
Yeah, and I personally think it's probably because of the condos. You know, I think there's a lot of condos for the high rises that are more than 30 years old that people are trying to move on. But, I mean, we've heard these similar numbers for how many years now?
It's been low for a while.
I mean, there hasn't been inventory.
Right.
5 years?
Good point. Yeah, it's been like that for a while. Yeah, because that translates into the 55% absorption rate translates into a 1.82 month supply of inventory. So still less than 2 months of inventory. Hillsborough County 1.43 months supply of inventory. Pasco County 1.33 months supply of inventory.
I mean, I feel like we've been between that 1 and 2 months for years.
We actually have, yeah.
You know, and I think it's even dipped below.
Yeah,
even the month, get down to 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks or something as far as the absorption. So, I mean, we're still in the same boat, and that part of it I don't think is going to change anytime soon. So it's still a tough market.
Yep, not when you have, I was watching the news this morning, and record numbers. New York census just came out. The state of New York, the census just came out. They lost over 100,000 people again. Mm-hmm. So multiple years in a row. These typically blue states, because they're more of the lockdown mindset, they're more of the higher crime mindset.
Taxes.
And taxes, of course, yep. And then, of course, they don't have the sunshine as much as we do. But yeah, there's a lot of factors, but they're moving down here. They're moving to Florida and Texas are number one, and then the Carolinas are up there, Tennessee. But yeah, your common theme is still there. I saw a post on social media that was put out by one of my friends that had a map of Florida with the flamingos over here, and it had the citrus over here, and it said "We full," like no more, don't come down until we get our roadways straightened out a little bit.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I've noticed the difference. I think it's really changed in the last 5 years. I've been in Florida 16 years now. Next summer it'll be 17 years. And I feel like it really changed about 5 years ago as far as the Tampa market. I couldn't tell you about Orlando and Miami and all that, but I'm sure they're the same or worse than even where we are.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on the different. All right, I teased this lawsuit. I wanted to get into this because this is very interesting. Because you think about a market that's changed in a bad way as Texas. Think about Texas. You've got so many people flooding through that open southern border. I mean, it's criminal what's going on there. But there's no accountability in Washington D.C. Very little things that Texas has done. They put a floating barrier out there that, some decent moves are being made, but just record highs the last few days. I don't know if you saw that, but 12,000 plus people in one single day, record numbers. But here's the Justice Department filed a suit against this developer called Colony Ridge. And I'm going to play a clip here, and then Jay Smith and I will talk about it.
The Justice Department and the Consumer Protection Financial Bureau filed a lawsuit against the Colony Ridge development on Wednesday. The controversial housing development northeast of Houston, Texas, is believed to be the largest settlement of illegal immigrants in the U.S. Here to break down the lawsuit is Daily Wire reporter Spencer Lindquist. So, Spencer, first off, what is this suit alleging?
This lawsuit from the DOJ really hones in on a few issues, the first of which is the alleged violation of federal civil rights law. Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark announced the lawsuit on Wednesday.
Our complaint alleges that Colony Ridge's actions violate both the Fair Housing Act and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, two federal civil rights laws that prohibit discrimination in housing and lending.
She went on to say that Colony Ridge also engaged in bait and switch sales, accusing the developer of false advertising by telling buyers the lots have infrastructure for water, electricity, and sewage when they do not.
I'm going to pause there because that's a big one, right, Jay? When you're buying, I sell vacant land, I sell commercial properties, we sell, of course, single-family homes ready to move into. But when you're buying vacant land, can you walk us through what they're talking about there? Because that's a pretty big part of the purchase, right?
Well, I mean, if it's actually a development, I would think that it had to go through the county,
right,
on what's acceptable, and if it hasn't passed any inspections and actually put the roads in, put the main sewer lines in, then how can it be sold that way? So if they are false advertising, then to me they're liable for it, but I'm not an attorney.
Yeah, well,
or a judge.
Yeah, these are all alleged, but the idea is if you're buying vacant land and you don't have water and you don't have sewer and you don't have electric there, then that's a major expense that's going to be then passed on to the home buyer to bring in. And if you have to put a septic tank, et cetera, those are going to run you upwards of $10,000-$15,000.
Yeah, and then here in the state of Florida, I mean, they're trying not to have the septic tanks. They're wanting everyone to be on some kind of public system.
Right.
Especially here in Hillsborough County and Pinellas County, you're pushing towards that. Your outskirt county, Homosassa and up towards Citrus County, you're still going to have, your own setups as far as sewer, wells for water and things like that.
Yep.
But I mean, if it's a development and the lots are, smaller, if they're only a third of an acre, 20% of an acre, then that's a whole different ballgame. That's all got to be city. You can't put septic and sewer and all on those.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to continue with this clip because there's more.
Our investigation revealed that Colony Ridge operates as a one-stop shop for discriminatory lending. First, it targets Hispanic applicants with false advertising, promising home ownership on properties it claims have basic utilities.
Now, the major controversy around Colony Ridge among Republicans has been that it incentivizes illegal immigration. But the Biden administration is primarily cracking down on practices that unfairly target migrants, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. In addition to the allegations about the bait and switch advertising and the sales, the suit also alleges that Colony Ridge engages in predatory financing. Here's Clark on that.
It steers applicants into seller-financed loans, exploiting their limited English proficiency.
So that's another issue then. Now, when you start talking about seller-financed loans, the developers can make a pretty penny if they're charging origination fees up front and then also a higher interest rate over time. And they can also put balloon payments in there, essentially trapping people in there for a short period of time and then forcing them to pay off the entire note if it's, say, a 2 or 3 year balloon.
Well, if it's true, they should be held responsible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to look at it, whether you're conservative or, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I'm conservative, and I say if they're doing something like that, then they should be going after it.
Now, the kicker is, too, there's also, the clip goes on, but I'll just tell you what it goes on to talk about. And essentially, I've heard about this story months ago where they had this idea because of all these illegals coming across, and we call them illegals around here, not just migrants, because that's what the mainstream calls them. They're not migrants. They're illegals. They cross the border illegally. And what happens is now, so you have a capitalist type developer that says, hey, let's try to capitalize. Let's try to make some money. Let's give these people a place to live. But to do these false practices and this bait and switch stuff is just not cool. So,
I mean, I'll be honest with you, something a little bit different than all this. I'm not a big fan of tiny houses. I mean, the tiny houses have kind of fallen away,
right?
But they're still in different areas.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's a lot of building codes and things like that aren't followed with tiny houses. Like they're allowed to do things that you're not normally allowed to do.
Yeah.
And I just don't agree with that.
I'm not a fan either, because I think it's one step closer to the World Economic Forum's agenda where they want everybody to own nothing and be happy. You're going to rent, so Uber's going to own all the cars, these big hedge funds are going to own all the housing. And yeah, the less square footage that they can give you, the more that they can stick you into a closet and you better be happy with that. And you're going to pay more dollar per square foot with that too. So I'm not a big fan of those trends either. Let's take a quick break. More with Jay Smith coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got Jay Smith, a Snoop Inspection, in studio with us, and we're going to be right back after a short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite, sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
Welcome back in studio here with Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspections. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Replenish IB Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. I love going down and visiting their Gandy location, and I get the vitamin infusion drip directly into my bloodstream. Vitamins, B's, C's, Myers cocktails, what a lot of people know these infusions as. ReplenishIVSolutions.com. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, we like to feature our real estate listings. We've got a couple of nice properties here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. 140 Glendower Circle. This is another listing. We've got about 60 current listings with the Platinum MVP team. This one is down in Sun City Center on Glendower Circle. It's unit number 1. It's 55-plus gated community at Kings Point. 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. You have an attached carport, oversized utility and laundry room, and an enclosed glass lanai. Beautiful flooring, granite countertops. Just a nice property there. Solid structure. Now, we also have another one at Cameron Court. This is 1846 Cameron Court in Trinity, Florida. This is a lovely home. You've got a beautiful 3-car garage, solar panels on the roof, 5 bedrooms, 4 bath, 3155 square feet. You have a lot size of 0.17. You also have the soft close cabinets, granite countertops, tile backsplash, stainless steel appliances, recessed lighting, and an island with seating. Primary ensuite there that has a garden tub, separate walk-in shower, dual sinks. Too many bonuses to list here, but a great opportunity to own real estate. You got to check this one out, folks. If you're in the market and you're thinking about Trinity, 1846 Cameron Court, Trinity, Florida, and a beautiful waterfront view in the back, covered porch. You can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
Okay, we got Jay Smith in the house. Jay, let's see. You do new construction. I think that's a noteworthy talk here as well. Just at least a minute or so on. If I'm buying a home from a builder, do I necessarily want to just trust them to do the right job, or do I want to have an independent home inspector go in and inspect their work?
I highly recommend, at least before your final walkthrough, that you have that inspection done. And if you really want to check the house, if it's a house you're planning on keeping for a few years, is having the pre-drywall inspection. I mean, those 2 inspections I think are important. One, you can head off issues. Yes, you want the county to be in there inspecting, and you hope that the builder's got enough going that they're doing good quality control. But these superintendents are running so many houses, it's unbelievable. To me, most of them are running more houses than they should,
right?
Which means they can only keep so close attention to your specific house. and having a third party go in for your benefit, I think is huge.
Yeah. It's a big plus, and you want to make sure you're doing your due diligence, because there are issues that happen, and once that drywall gets closed in, it's very difficult to go back in and kind of backtrack from there.
I mean, it can be as simple as window operation. You know, a window's tighter than another one, and then we're going to look at. I look at every single window, go through the entire house. During the pre-drywall. But even if that's it's harder for them to fix, but at least we can still write it up and try to get them to fix it, even if it's just the inspection right before final walkthrough. Yeah,
that's an important step of the process. Now, when you look at this interest rate drop, we kind of talked a little bit about this, is where, you know, in the spring they're saying that they're going to do some drops. They're talking about multiple drops, and I wish they wouldn't. That kind of
broadcast it. Yeah,
why
broadcast
their
it
three
right now?
moves. Yeah, they're giving away, you know, because then you're going to have some people who are saying, well, I might as well wait for the second drop, or I'm going to wait for the third drop, and then that third drop might come, that second drop. But, you know, just in generally speaking, what's going to happen is once those rates get into something with the 5 in the front, I think you're going to see prices go up.
Yep.
So there's going to be that more demand's going to hit, and you're going to be right back in this multiple offer situation.
Multiple offer, and then are they, you know, right now you're not seeing the people throw on an extra $30,000 just because,
right?
And now it will. So your interest rate, you just ate it up real quick. Plus you're fighting. You may be looking at multiple houses just to get a contract. I mean, it's a much harder market when it's done that way. Like right now, if you go look at a house, you're not likely to have all of those offers on it currently.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know there's some select properties that still are getting multiple offers within 24, 48 hours. But if you're out there looking, you're not going to drive yourself crazy. So I think it's a great time to look. I mean, I'd be looking next week. If you're off, you know, there's plenty of agents that are still around and working between Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, yeah, there are.
You know, is Brandon working between Christmas and New Year's?
Hey, you know, we got our team out there. Our team hustles, man. We're doing open houses, and we're out there hustling.
I mean,
that's what happens.
I'm literally going out of town for the holidays, and I am back to work on the 27th. I'm taking basically one day after Christmas, and then back at it.
Yeah, we got inspections going on contracts next week. You know, commercial properties under contract, and you know, it's not. And I think December 31, it's kind of tight right now, but if there's cash out there, you know, a lot of people want to get that cash deployed off of off their books and invested. That way, they're getting tax ramifications. You know, there's IRS. There's a lot of different reasons why people want to close it before December 31.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So, yeah, you know, talking about overall affordability, I've got a clip that I was going to play, but I don't have time to get into it now. But if you look at the third quarter of this year and you know, comparing interest rates and payments, the payments are up 90%. From basically, I think it's about a year ago. So there, you know, Biden's running around talking about Bidenflation's working, Bidenomics is working, and it's just really.
I think the first way you said it was correct.
That's the right way to say it. Yeah, $33.22 mortgage payment. Same home would have been $1,600 a month about a year ago. So payments have gone up significantly. Now, different markets you get different you know, adjustments and things like that. But yeah, I think that's the key element right here. But we got about 30 seconds. Back to you, Jay.
I would just say I'm hoping everyone's having a great Christmas season. Looking forward to the new year in 2024, and hopefully there's some great decisions made next year.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. I second that. And Jay Smith, always a pleasure. Online at A-Snoop.
Yep, A-Snoop.com, or you can call the office at 813-345-2600.
Awesome. Check out his Facebook page as well. Snoop Dogg in the house. All right, coming back here, we got Patrick Furlow, Step by Stage Interior. We're going to talk about home staging and a little bit more real estate talk for you here coming up. And make sure you follow us online. We'd really appreciate it. Be your Christmas gift to us is just go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us beat the cancellation and censoring that's happening out there. YouTube, Brandon Rhymes Realty. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.